Hey, people, it's Salman Qureshi. You're listening to the Expat Brad podcast, and I am exhausted. Guys, on, I've been traveling for 9 days now. Traveling, as in, I'm abroad. I've been in Algeria for 9 days. It's the last day, and I'm heading back tomorrow. And while it's been super fun and awesome, I can't wait to get back home, right? You start missing the family. You start forgetting how much your kid doesn't let you sleep, and you just want to go back to it and start living that again. It's I have parental guilt, right? I every time I'm away, even for like the day, I just feel like I'm letting my kid down by not being there for him, especially because Zayan is so loving. Very lucky to have a kid like that. He's just so loving. He wants to be around with me, and he really snuggles in and stuff. And I just go, yeah, this has been great. Daddy's got to go out and do stuff, you know? Parental guilt is just crap. It's just, I wish I didn't have it. Well, I think it's a good thing I have it because then forces you to be a better dad, parent. I don't know. They never warn you about these things. No one talks, or you don't understand any of it till it's too late, and then you're like, oh no, I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life now. Okay, all right, let's make this work. Speaking of children, they're making a Michael Jackson. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. They're making a Michael Jackson movie though, and I'm kind of blah about it. I'm just wondering who's it for and why. And that's obvious, isn't it? They're making a movie to kind of introduce him to a younger audience and tell his side of the story and wipe out the contentious stuff and put him in good light again, right? And his nephew's playing Michael, and that'll be kind of cool to see, I guess. But I wonder if it's what I wonder about is though, is anyone interested in watching a Michael Jackson movie? I mean, his show did really well though, right? The live show, they went around doing it. And recently there've been some good ones like the Elvis one and blah blah blah. I'm never really too excited about it too. And when maybe for me, Michael's story is just still very recent. God, how long has it been since he died? Has it been 10 years, maybe? I think at least 10 years, right? More, maybe. And I just think that should be long enough. Well, they make Spider-Man movies every 3 years, so I guess, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It's long enough. We could have a Michael Jackson movie. What am I talking about? It would be cool. I think I will go watch it, just to see what aspects they show and what they might reveal in it in terms of his life, because I watched that documentary when it came out in the cinema. This Is It, and that was a very interesting one to see him. It was both cool, and at the same time you go, wow, he's really amazing, but also weird, man, and like this is just strange. And I can imagine his life. I can't imagine his life, right? I don't know what fame does to these people, to anyone with that kind of power and fame. I only ever caught a glimpse. I did this show, right, with a couple of other big comics, and one of the comics was a big name, and we did this at a university, and there were about 600 people or so in attendance, more. And as soon as the show ended, they kind of chased us into this big green room. The green room was actually like a ballroom, and they just fought through security to get in. And they're taking photos with me as well because I was with those guys, and they were just like, covering like just treating like just fans, right? Like it was like Beatlemania for me. Yeah. I haven't experienced anything ever like that again, but they chased us all the way to the car. We got to our cars and they were still chasing to take pictures with us. And it always made me go, man, this would go to my head if I had this like every day. Cause it did. For 5 minutes I was like, God, I am the shizzle. Shizzle? Shizzle. Shizzle. That's the Irish drunk version of it. And and that's it's true. It's just I kind of just felt that, and I always remember that because for me it was humbling to just drive away and then be a nobody again. Because when I got home, there wasn't any a bunch of people wanting to take my pictures down my house or adding me on social media and whatnot. It was over, and it allowed me to be normal again. Kind of shitty, but okay. But I'll never forget it for that one reason that you just go. In fact, I can tell you this Bollywood star Baman Irani. He told me when he was doing this run of plays in Mumbai, and the series of runs, and he said it was one of the most well received. This is, I think, just before he became big in movies, though, or just right at the start. And this run of plays, he said, Salman, it was one of the best runs ever, right? Just amazing. We got a ovation, standing ovation every time, and it was good. Like, he was just like, I would leave on this high, but then I walked out one of the nights, and this police constable, he goes, "Is this your car?" And he says, "Yeah." And he's like, "It's parked wrong and move it right now." And blah blah. So he treated him like shit, and he was like, I was immediately humbled, and I thought, shit. And I when I was inside, they were treating me like God, and then this guy just put me back in this place. Why am I telling you guys this story? This is the same reason. This humbling of things, and so that kind of keeps you grounded a little bit. But Michael Jackson was never grounded, so he was always going to be like weird, man. Like he was just on a different level of fame. Uh, but I I was a huge fan too. I still listen to his music sometimes, and in fact, it was this habit of mine when Zayan was born. I was changing his diapers to Michael Jackson's music, and Zayan would kind of calm down to it too. And then my wife messed it up for me. I think it was Sarah who said, around that time that controversial documentary came out with these two guys accusing him again. And she said, "It's a bit weird now." And I was like, "It's weird now because you said it's weird." It was okay for me. I wasn't thinking about that. And now I can't listen to those songs while changing his diaper. And it all fell apart. It all fell apart. Luckily, he grew out of that phase. And, what a bummer. I remember I started when I was a kid and I watched Thriller. I was very young. I must have been 3, 4. And I was like scared of that video, but also enjoyed it. So I would kind of peek through the door and see it and just be thrilled. And, and I loved it, but I was also like, it's a monster. And it was cool. And that's like, it's seared into my brain. And I started dancing because of Michael. I always enjoyed dancing because he was like one of my first heroes. And the time we went to London as a family, our first time ever, as well, with me at least, we because we lived in Saudi, there were no Michael Jackson was banned there, right? So he was in the 80s, late 80s, I think around the time Bad came out, and they banned him. Yeah, I think I've talked about this in my previous podcast episodes. He was banned, and basically I couldn't get any of his VHS tapes or music. So when we went to London, we picked up those cassettes, and I just remember watching all his music videos over and over and over again. And some of those cassettes, movies were about kind of behind the scenes stuff with the music videos. And I grew up watching that stuff, man. And he was the coolest person I knew. And I fight anyone who used to be like, no, he's past his prime, blah, blah, blah. In 92, 93, or 94, what was it, 95? I don't know. I would fight people. And always remained a fan that way. I do look back. I look at his last few years and I go, "Wow, he looked strange and that's sad." Um, why am I ta- Why I'm basically convincing myself to go watch this movie now, aren't I? It's crazy, I guess. Well, there you go, guys. There's the answer. Why they're making this movie. It's for suckers like me. And I might just go to the cinema and watch it too. Wow, wow! I can't believe I'm doing this, guy. Ugh, ugh. I just hope I get busy around the time it's released and not get time to watch it. Just like hundreds of other movies in the last few years that I've really wanted to watch, and then I don't get time, and then I find out they've taken it off, and it's just like I love cinema, I love movies, and I can't manage to, you know, I'm the worst lover of movies and cinema because I never go to the cinema. Uh, End up watching some of the stuff at home instead, and at least I do. I do love movies, watching them and everything, but man, just yeah. And I live in Dubai, where you have the most awesome of cinemas, with great food and clean seats and whatnot. It's just amazing. And yet I sit at home in my PJs, watching it all on my big TV, not making the effort. It's a shame though, because my dad is probably the most hardworking person ever in this world, and I don't know how his like kid, meaning me, has been so lazy. It's a problem. Yeah. So a couple of things, man. There's the Lit Fest starting soon in Dubai. If you are there, the Emirates Lit Fest. Is it still called Emirates Lit Fest? The Lit Fest. And that's always awesome, but really, really proud of two of my very lovely friends, Hanana Zahir and Faye Brand. They're both artists, and that's my phone going off. It's very unprofessional to not have this on silent while recording. And they're published authors, and this time they're coming back to run some workshops and talks and whatnot. And that's really cool. And I'm catching them all after a few years, so this is going to be exciting for me. And if you are involved in the Lit Fest, then go out and check what these guys are up to. I don't have the schedule on me, but it's pretty easy to find on the website and on the thing and blah blah blah. So do check out their stuff. Do check out whatever they're up to, and visit them and tell them Salman sent you, and that and then if it's terrible, then you guys can leave a comment on my Instagram for the expat brat, and just and tell me off, and I will have a word with my friends and tell them why did they have to like go embarrass me about this stuff, This just went downhill really, really fast. Like I was so positive and happy about this, and now, anywho, I'm excited. Flying still gets me excited. At the same time, I have a love hate thing with flying, and at least I don't have to fly away from my dude. I was just reading this story of this guy called Ashkan Morovatis. So this Kurdish Iranian wrestler, he's one of the guys who had to escape, the recent protests. And man, it's just wild, right? Like the dude was back in October. He's at this a protest, a rally, and I don't think he was like really part of it. But he walks up to some of the police officers. This is his side of the story, and he tells them not to be so heavy-handed on the protesters, and instead they start beating him up. And this is the clip of his that went viral, and that's why he's famous. It's this clip of him surrounded by these army guys and stuff, the police, and he's got a knife on them, and they're wielding batons and their guns at him, aimed at him, and then they just shoot him, right, like a few times on the feet, the legs and stuff. And so that clip went viral, and basically that's his version of what happened. And then he ends up in the hospital. I think after, if I remember, so he gets shot. They carry him in an ambulance. They shoot him again in the ambulance, and they really thought he's gonna die. So they were just like, "We'll take him to the hospital. He's gonna die there," and he survives it. Right. 10 days later, they haul him to like the jail while he's still recovering, and he's in pain for another 10 days until his family's pressuring them and blah blah blah. The government finally they move him to an army base where he's still like doing badly in the army. He's like, listen, you gotta send him to a better hospital, and these guys agree, the police and stuff, the courts, and then the courts put a case on him. I forget the word, but apparently it's a treason against God kind of thing, basically a form of blasphemy. And now the punishment for that is death. He hasn't attended court. He has not had a trial, and they've passed the sentence on him that he is guilty of that. So he uses the excuse of moving from the army hospital to find his own hospital, to get out of the country. And now he's in a like an undisclosed location. He's still suffering. I guess his boxing career is over because his legs are shot and one of his legs has gone numb. And it's horrific, right? And every so often when I come across stories like that, I just go, oh, would I make those kind of sacrifices? I don't think so. I don't. Oh my God, I'm not. Maybe when I was younger and passionate. You know what the other problem is? He says at the end, the great thing about him, and I'm not deriding what he did. I think it's great that he has that courage. And he goes at the end of this interview he tells them, I'm ready to die 1,000 times so that my country can be freed. And that really hit me because I was like, whoa, like, and that's the difference, right? So as an expat kid, I don't have that love or loyalty to any place because I know unfortunately most of the places I've stayed, they haven't created that loyalty because I've always been kind of an outsider, right? There's no path towards citizenship or whatnot. And maybe and so my cousins in the States or Canada, their kids are loyal to the place and they love it and it's their home. And I don't have that as an expat. And so I guess that's why I wouldn't, and I don't have a lot of link to my home country. Basically I wouldn't get shot. I wouldn't risk it, right? Like they'd have to shoot me in my throat to stop me from doing comedy again. And that's terrible. It's just you don't want. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess being a little bit of an expat brat helps in that context. Then I won't be. What kind of sad existence do I have, people? That I have. What would I die for? I would die for my family for sure, right? Like my parents, my wife and kid, my siblings. Definitely, definitely. Would I die for anything else? There are a couple of friends who I might die for. I don't want to name these guys because then the other friends will know. And also, I don't want to create this hope that I'll definitely do it for them. I don't know. It'll be one of those things we'll find out in the moment. It'll be like, oh well, I guess he was never that close. He or she was. Just, oh, that'd be a sad way to find out for them, not for me. I'd walk out there pretty satisfied with myself, knowing I'm more clear about life and my future decision making is more simple. So, but I think I would. I think a couple of friends I would. There's a couple of cousins I would do it to for. Other than that, you guys are on your own. Yeah, no help from me. Although, as I mentioned in some episodes, I am now trained in delivering first aid. So, if it's safe for me, I might still save you. But to die for you, yeah, that's the difference. That's too much to ask of anyone, really. I wouldn't expect or want really anyone else dying in my place. So I would like everyone else to be as unselfish too, except for like I said, like my family. Why am I talking about that, guys? I started off cause you know what, we have been talking about that. Michael Jackson's dead, and now they're making a movie, and now all this stuff. Let's do some positive stuff. Like I've been talking to you guys about Chuck, right? And if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's a great series, 5 seasons, and then it was done, and blah 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 blah. And then one of my friends, Rami, sends me this thing just a couple of days ago. Was it yesterday, right? He sends me about how the guy's an vax, anti-vaxxer. What's his name? Zach Levy, and I was like, why did I have to find that out? And it's bizarre, right? Because I'm just like, do I care? Should I care? I mean, at the beginning of this episode, I'm talking about loving Michael Jackson, still do, and listen to his music. And here's Zach Levy with his support for Trump, I think, as well. Yeah, and for speaking out about against vaccines. And I'm like, I don't want to make those choices anymore. I don't want to have to. Um, can we separate, age old question, right? Can we separate art from the artist? And in his case, maybe I just don't care enough. I don't love him anyway, right? So it's not like anything that he does, I make sure I watch it. I haven't watched Shazam yet. It's on my list of movies to watch, and I missed it when it came out, and I was excited about it. Just again, this is a recurring theme about death and me missing things, getting not watching things I should and want to watch, and then death, and then things. What a awesomely crafted episode, people. Maybe we fit in one more quick one about what was it? Death? Can we fit in another death here, real quick? Who else died that has a big meaning on my life or what? I can't think of anything. It's fine. But now I'm in. Yeah, this thing about this celebrities, man. I'm making a call going forward. I'm just getting out of the cancel culture because I agree with it. I'm not one of those people who say they shouldn't be canceling. Well, not per se like that, but you should be arrested if you're like Harvey Weinstein. Weinstein. I'm just not getting anything right today. If you're like that, yeah, definitely cancel that stuff and send you to prison kind of situation. Everything below that, I'm just like, let the law deal with it, and I don't want to get involved. I don't want to know. Actually, I do want to know. I don't want to make that decision because every so often, maybe it's 1 out of 10, they won't be guilty, right? And innocent till guilty, right? By law. So that's tough too, right? Like there might be overwhelming evidence and stuff, and in which case, yeah, go for it. But I think I just want to leave this back to the cops who happened to kill black people way too. Oh my God, we're talking about that. I did find some death, didn't I? I found some death, and and so maybe I should end on something I really want to watch. What's coming up? I'm gonna watch the next big movie that comes out that I really want to watch. I'm gonna make sure I go to the cinema and watch it there and be part of this cinematic experience of movies again and contribute to the industry I love so much and part of it in fringe ways, or rather on the fringe of it. You get what I mean. I think I'm gonna stop there, guys. This has been good. I've had a long 9-10 days, and I want to get some sleep. I have an early morning tomorrow again, and I'm flying tomorrow. So you guys take care, have fun, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, or as a dog would say, woof.